The following presentation was recorded at the Menditto Amplification Annex of Maggio Music Center in Brooklyn, New York. Hello and welcome to the workshop. I hope that all of my American viewers, as well as anyone else who celebrates, had a happy Thanksgiving. I am thankful that you are here with me now, watching my video. I hope that you watch my other videos. I am also very thankful for my wonderful family and friends. It is great to be alive, and I hope that we can all agree that every day above ground is a good day. And that is what we do here. We keep old stuff out of the ground, out of the landfill. We are continuing with our 1966 Fender Deluxe Reverb refurbishment project. I left off with you last, and we were having some problems with an intermittent crackling sound, and also with some strange things going on with the reverb. So, when you are diagnosing a problem, the best thing to do, you start with the simplest things first. So, crackling sound. Well, you check all your cabling. Instrument cable, it's just fine. What else is hooked up with cables? Well, our reverb tank is hooked up with cables. So, now, the reverb tank is buried in the bottom of the cabinet inside of this absolutely disgusting and decrepit vinyl thing. So, first, do something easier. Grab a reverb unit out of another amplifier. And then you discover that something's rattling around in there, and you realize that one of the springs is broken off and fallen out, but it still works. So next, cabling, right? Well, the reverb is connected with RCA cables from the top of the chassis unit, and the reverb tank sits at the bottom of the cabinet. So, easiest thing to do is to connect your RCA cables. Yeah, kids, I know, what are RCA cables? Listen, you are using your little device. You're probably watching me on that right now, so look it up. RCA cables. You take your RCA cables and you connect it to the reverb to discover that it works just fine. So why was I having a problem? Well, turns out that these original Fender RCA cables, one of them is bad. And it's not only bad right here where the cable is soldered to the connector, but it's also bad in the middle someplace, because I don't know if this reverb tank was replaced at one point and it was kind of kinked a little strange. So you move the cable around and there's some resistance in there. And that is why we were having a reduction in volume when we would turn the reverb on. Now, another problem I was having is, let's replicate the problem again. Yeah, that's my butt. Okay. Have our amplifier on. Turn off our vibrato. Okay. The reverb is on, and the threshold has raised up a little bit higher from where I was having the problem the last time. But when you go above 6, it gets this really strange hum. And that kind of click happens there, right? Well, that was happening, and that was my error. The reverb signal actually travels out to the switch, and this whole thing here acts like a giant antenna, because there is... Whoa, and it's working. there is one side here that is just a bare center, I guess positive wire we'll call it. And then this one is shielded. The shielded side needs to go on the reverb jack in the back of the cabinet. So I had this side, which is supposed to go to the tremolo, attached to the reverb, and that is why it was making that weird sound, because this is not shielded and the signal is traveling to this foot switch. So that was my error. It's been a long time since I've messed around with one of these amplifiers, but yeah, that's a commonplace thing that a lot of guys who use these amplifiers regularly and religiously would know. And I was hoping that I put it out there that one of you old-timers or one of you fanatics would tell me that I was an idiot and excoriate me for, oh, it was such a simple solution, you probably have this hooked up the wrong way. But you didn't. I'm a little disappointed. But anyway, so let's make sure we hook this up to the right place. Yeah. Okay. So it's vibrato, it's vibrato on this amplifier, tremolo on others, and even though those two terms are not quite interchangeable, Fender interchanged them. That's another story. So, reverb off, reverb on, no more strange sound. So now, anyway, I skipped ahead a little bit. So, yeah, these cables are bad. I am going to keep these with the amplifier and give them back to the owner. Right now, I have a cheap old RCA cable from my vast collection of old cables, and we are going to use that for now and keep everything connected with this because it works. And this person actually wants to use this amplifier for it to be reliable. But you can purchase these. You can buy this at Tube Depot. You can buy this at Amplified Parts, Antique Electronic Supply, kind of the same thing. You can find them on eBay, on Reverb. You can find these. So if you are having this kind of a problem and you would like to replace these but keep the amp looking original, you can buy these. You can buy them pre-made, you can buy them in a kit, and you can solder them together yourself. I'm not a big fan of soldering these particular types of cables. Whoa, it's telling us that something's wrong. I'm not a big fan of soldering these particular types of cables because the outer shielding is kind of sharp, and it sticks in your fingers and hurts, so I don't like really messing with that. But you can buy these. We are going to demonstrate now that the reverb works. This is my 2021 Fender American Performer Stratocaster in Honeyburst with a rosewood fretboard. And I really love this guitar. And the last video that I did, I used my Lake Placid Blue 2020 American Performer Stratocaster, and I had mentioned this one, so I thought that this time I would show this one to you guys. So, reverb works. You can use a sickening amount of reverb. Can use a little bit of reverb. Let's call that a tasteful amount of reverb. You can also use your vibrato So all of that works now. So let's get back to the other problem with the crackling and popping sound that happens intermittently. I thought that I had already addressed that problem. I tried changing, this is a new Sovtek 12AX7WA tube. That is what's in here now, in that second position, just an older one. And I tried replacing that, and it just started happening again. It's not the tube. So we put the customer's original tube back in. And when I had it out on the bench, it did this to me a few times. I used my special diagnostic tool, and I would also like to thank my good friend and former guitar teacher, Joe Cefalou, once again for sending me a nice set of these wonderful diagnostic tools. You know, I'm thinking that I'm going to start doing my best Phyllis Diller impression, but instead of a cigarette holder, I'm just going to hold a chopstick, and I'm going to do some stand-up comedy on this channel instead of amplifier repair. Yeah, I know, there's a lot of people, you don't know who Phyllis Diller is, you don't even know what a cigarette holder is. So once again, you're watching me on your device that you are basically attached to every waking hour of the day. Just look it up. She's funny. So, I am going to need to take the amplifier apart once again and, yeah, probably extensively use my diagnostic tool. The reason why you use a wood stick, a wood chopstick, is that you have the amplifier on and you're moving around wires, and that's high voltage. So, you know, in the AC/DC Dirty Deeds album, high voltage is one of the ways to kill someone that you don't like. You'll look that up too, young guys. Yeah. So, we are going to take this apart once again, and I will probably, definitely, make a video of that every step of the way, because I'm very anal retentive about making video and taking footage of absolute footage. I'm dating myself once again. There's no more footage. But I take extensive video, bits, bytes, data on cards, SD cards. You probably don't even know what SD cards are anymore. Yeah. But, so I'm going to sit there with the camera and poke around, and we are going to pinpoint exactly what is causing this intermittent crackling and popping sound. Now, why does it happen when it's in the cabinet installed, and why was it not happening on the bench? Well, on the bench, the chassis is out in the open. It's got air circulating all around it. It's cool. There's no speaker directly attached to it or in proximity that is making extreme vibrations, along with the high temperatures that are contained in here, and now everything's heating up. So the point is that after you fix something on the bench and it seems perfect, this is a 60-year-old tube amplifier. This is a special beast that we don't have these same kind of problems anymore. And you put this in the cabinet and you crank this up loud. It's going to vibrate everything. Those tubes, I mean, the tubes have metal parts, they have filaments, it's all in there, and it's all moving around in there. It's getting hot. And you've got how many tubes? You've got 6 preamp tubes, you've got 2 power amp tubes, you have a rectifier tube in here. So all that is vibrating around, and anything can happen, especially when it's 60 years old. And you have all this old wire that's cloth covered, or these old steel mesh covered shielded cables that like to fail and cause you weird problems. So anything can happen. So when you're so certain that it's fixed on the bench, it's not done yet. You put it in the cabinet and then you have to torture test it. And of course right now, it's not gonna start doing the popping and crackling thing, because I'm making a video trying to explain that it's happening, but that's when it's not going to happen. You see what I'm saying? When you're playing quietly, you're playing quietly, it's not happening. Play loud, everything's vibrating around, the amp is hot, weird things start happening. So now, it makes you look like an idiot when you're trying to prove that you know how to fix amplifiers, and you're making videos to put on YouTube, and you're sharing with your friends and people that you don't know, and guys that are sitting in their basement with their cat and nothing else better to do but complain and fight and call you a jerk. So you put yourself out there, but I was saying on a Facebook forum that I am the tube amplifier masochist of Brooklyn, and I ask for it. So I'm putting myself out there. This is real life. You're fixing these old things, and weird stuff is going to happen. And if you don't want it to make a fool out of you when you give it back to your customer, you sit here and you play it loud, you let it get hot, you bang it around, and you see if it really works before you give it back. So that is all that I have for you today. In our next installment, I will have this on the bench, and we will have our diagnostic tool. We will have the amplifier on, and we are going to poke around and figure out why that crackling sound is happening. We'll see you next time. There it goes. Well, now it won't stop. Anyway, we'll see you next time.